What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Hopefully you are having an incredible weekend so far. So progressives are saying that the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package is just a down payment to the American people. The petition for $2,000 monthly stimulus checks, well, that has surpassed 3 million signatures. Congress is looking into different ways to provide assistance to the American people, and I'm going to give you kind of an idea of what they're discussing. Lawmakers also say that California is making other states and Congress look bad with all their additional stimulus packages, causing some to argue that they need to pass another stimulus check plus more relief to the American people. Congress says they are wanting answers as to why the rental assistance is taking so long, even though they passed it months ago, and why it's being held up by many states. Top Biden officials are now believing that the COVID lab leak was possible, and experts are worried that the Delta COVID variants will soon be a major problem leading into the rest of the summer. And right now, again, we are pretty much smack dab in the middle of it. So let's get into all those updates for today. If you could do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button if and only if you enjoy these uploads, and let's get into the update. First, progressives. And we've been talking about progressives for some time because they do hold a lot of power at this point in the House. In the House they do, in the Senate, not so much. It's in the House. But progressives say that the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package, this is that budget reconciliation bill, not the bipartisan bill. The budget reconciliation bill is just going to be a down payment to the American people. They say we need more. They're trying to provide more. They want to see, free community college. They would love to get free meals for all school-age children. That's one of the big things that they want. Another thing that they would like to see: immigration reform, police reform, obviously climate change is in there. There's a lot of different priorities, but what progressives are saying right now is this is just going to be a down payment. That's it, just a down payment. They will pass more when they can. And you got to remember, okay, you need to remember that Democrats, even though they have one more budget reconciliation bill, or one more budget reconciliation card, they can use that this year. However, next year, they will actually have 3 more budget reconciliations. Now, the way this is broken down, they get like 3 per year. Okay, so just keep this in mind. One of the issues, though, is right now the Biden administration doesn't want to wait until 2022 to try to do another budget reconciliation. They would rather do the big one now, the $3.5 trillion bill now, and then follow that up with smaller bills as we see a need for them. So this is where some are saying that if we see COVID continue, and I personally believe it's going to continue. Experts believe it's going to continue. It's not just going to go away at the middle of the summer, end of the summer, whenever. It's going to stick around for a little while. Well, what we are hearing right now is that some are saying that if COVID is around in 2022, then expect more bills, expect more stimulus packages, relief bills, things that are going to go to the American people, to businesses, to help get them back on their feet. It's not just going to happen overnight. So some experts are saying we need to just be patient. Well, I can tell you right now, just reading through the comments, and me personally as well, we can't be patient. We just can't be patient. A lot of people need money, not only to pay for their back rent, but pay for food, pay for the essentials, medications that they need to survive. They cannot wait an additional 6 months or an additional year or two. They need the money today. So this is actually good news that progressives are pushing for more, and they're calling this just a down payment. Now, whether we see this turn into a bigger fight for more, some do expect this $3.5 trillion infrastructure package will actually get ballooned up closer to maybe $4.5 trillion before it's passed. But again, we will see. Also, that petition that is calling for a $2,000 monthly stimulus check, well, this has now surpassed over 3 million signatures. And I bring this up because this has actually been referenced by multiple lawmakers as of lately. They've referenced this, saying that there's almost 3 million people that want to see a $2,000 monthly stimulus check. If 3 million people want this, then obviously this is something, it's not just some fly-by-night idea. This has actually been considered. Well, what I can tell you is that yes, a $2,000 monthly stimulus check has been considered. It has been considered and is still considered a good option according to some. However, the majority of lawmakers at this point are saying that it's just too expensive. It would just be way too expensive. And how do you cut off who gets it and who doesn't? How do you cut off, okay, you make this much money, well, we're going to cut you off at, let's say, $45,000. You make anything more than that as a couple, you don't get any $2,000 monthly stimulus check, right? Well, then it turns into, okay, well, now we're going to start to see people being targeted because they are getting this money. So then the middle class gets left out. The upper class obviously doesn't need anything, the high income earners, but the lower income earners are now going to be targeted by debt collectors, right? You know that's what's going to happen. This is something that lawmakers say we can't have. So we will see what happens, but this has actually received over 3 million signatures as of today. That is quite a bit. That has seen a big jump. It's actually moving up quite a bit and very quickly. I don't know if this will really have too much of a say-so regarding what lawmakers pass, but this is something to consider. So we will see what happens. My guess is we won't see a monthly stimulus check. It would most likely be a one-time payment, and that would most likely come sometime in September. Now, Congress is looking into different ways to provide assistance to the American people. And I want to bring this up for a couple reasons. First off, we saw reports the other day that some are considering a $500 gas card. $500 to go towards gasoline because gas is becoming so expensive, some people just cannot go to work. Now, I want to break this down to you, okay? I want to break this down because here's what we're hearing. Some are saying that a $500 gas card would help. But the problem is, how do you send it out? How do you validate who actually gets it? We don't know. The other issue is, maybe we wait till the end of the year and then provide a $500 increase to, well, there's multiple different things. The earned income tax credit, that could work. SNAP benefits, yeah, that could work. Maybe just give every single American that files taxes an additional $500. Yeah, that could work. Some are saying that no, let's not do that. Let's actually have people tell us how many miles they've driven, right? Because you give every single American that earns less than, let's say, $50,000 a $500 credit for gasoline. Well, what if they don't have a car? Then what, right? Some are saying that they haven't contributed to the economic recovery because they haven't purchased a car. They don't have a vehicle. They don't pay taxes for the roads, right? That's what we're hearing. Well, that turns into a big issue as well. How do we figure out who gets this money? And that's where some are saying, well, let's just figure out, okay, you've driven this many miles throughout the year. Well, we're going to give you a bump in that gas tax write-off, right? Instead of was 57 cents a mile or whatever it is, right? You get something else, or it goes up a little bit. And so there's a lot of different ideas being thrown out there, but what really sticks? Honestly, we don't know. But this is just one thing. This is just one of the ways that lawmakers are looking at providing more for the American people. Others say that we need to provide more for rental assistance, right? It's just not coming out quick enough, and we need more. We knew when Congress passed these bills, when they passed, was it $50 billion for rental assistance? At that time, what we heard was the American people are behind about $75 billion, but yet Congress passed $50 billion. That turned into an issue. Well, states decided they are going to take it upon themselves to not provide 100% of the back rent to the landlords. They're only going to provide 60, 70, 80% of that rent, and the landlord would have to just pretty much wipe away the rest of the debt. Well, that turned into a big issue. Many landlords said, we're not going to accept that. We will not be doing this and taking part in this program. And so there's probably, I think, $46 billion that are still sitting around that hasn't actually gone to anybody, that the states are currently holding because there's not enough applicants. There's not enough applicants that have actually 100% filled out their application, gone through the entire process, and had the landlord accept the fact that they're going to get a little bit less. So, creates more issues. But Congress is now wanting answers, and they're wanting to know why many states are still holding on to billions and billions of dollars when we have 14 days. We have 14 days from today before the CDC eviction moratorium is up. It's not good news. Now, Lawmakers are also saying that California, as of right now, is making other states look bad with all their additional stimulus packages, causing some to actually argue that they need to pass another stimulus check. Well, I can tell you right now, some states are not going to just go out there and just hand out a stimulus check. It's not going to happen. And we're specifically not going to be getting votes in the Senate, or kind of like California did, where they got like 36 or 34 yeses to no, to 0 no's in the Senate, and in the state assembly they got like 64 to 0 or something like that. So it was pretty much everybody was in favor. Yes, provide additional stimulus. Yes, let's give the American people more money. Yes, let's give our residents. Let's do a state-funded, fully funded, okay, guaranteed income program. That's what we're seeing, and this is big. This is big because California is the first state to do this. My guess is we're going to see other states doing this as well. But again, this is where lawmakers are saying California is making everybody else look bad. This is also making the state or the government look bad as well, because right now the House and the Senate can't agree on anything. But yet California is passing all this additional stimulus to their residents, but yet every single person outside of California is getting very little because Congress can't agree on anything. So some are saying we need to pass another stimulus check. Now, top Biden officials, they now believe, it's taken them a little while, but they now believe that the COVID lab leak was possible. And they're saying this because what we're hearing right now is that the U.S. was, and the U.S. has been, but they are now wanting to look a little bit deeper into the Chinese scientists' data from the beginning of the pandemic, because we haven't really seen that yet. A lot of tests have been done, and this is one of the reasons why this possibility of a lab leak is quite possible, because what we heard from the beginning was that China stated this was from bats. They infected, the animals infected the food and the fruit, and then it went into the people, and the people obviously transferred it one to the other. Well, scientists have done a lot of different studies, and one of the studies that they've done is try to actually give the virus to a bat. The problem there is the bat wouldn't actually be infected. It didn't affect the bats. And so that was what quickly became a issue was, okay, well, China's telling us that bats were transmitting this. However, the problem was when scientists specifically gave it to a bat, the bat would not show signs of COVID. When it would be tested, it wouldn't actually be positive. That was an issue. So this couldn't be true. Now, some scientists say they don't understand how this would come from bats if bats can't be affected. Well, I don't know. You can give me your answer down in the comment section below. Honestly, I don't know, other than the fact that this was just a cover-up. But we will see. We also know right now that many experts are saying that the variants going around are going to ultimately derail our recovery process. They are saying that mainly the Delta COVID variant and the Delta Plus variants are going to be the ones that we need to watch out for. But experts are saying this is something that needs to be solved today. This is not something that we can take years to solve, this major problem. They say that vaccinations need to increase, and without this is a big one, this will be a serious threat to public health moving forward. Now, I said this before, I said this a couple weeks ago, that my expectation is we will not see more mask mandates, to the extreme like we did before. It's probably not going to happen. We're probably not going to see a closure of states. That's probably not going to happen as well. My expectation is, yes, we're going to see increases in the COVID cases. We will most likely see more hospitalizations, and chances are we'll see more deaths as well. But right now, some are saying that a few deaths here and there are not as bad as closing down the country, closing down the economy like we did before, and causing mass panic, heartache, and anxiety from that. So, as of right now, some are saying, well, we either close down and we risk not having COVID, but then everyone else is like, well, I'm dying because, suicide, or dying because of, just all this stress, and I don't have a job and no money, and the government isn't providing any assistance. So some experts say if the government is not going to provide any assistance, then they can guarantee there will be no closure of any kind. So we will see what happens as we move a little bit closer to the middle, from the middle to end of this summer. But what I can tell you is a lot of experts are looking into this. It will be interesting to see what happens as we get a little closer to August and closer to September as well. So as I know more, promise I'll share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.